okay if we just have a conversation today aside from group?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just want to kind of bring up some things about your smoking. I've kind of noticed that you're smoking outside, and so it just kind of happened to be that we were going to talk about smoking cessation today. I just wanted to have your permission if we could talk about that.
That'd be all right.
Okay, so can you tell me kind of about your smoking and just how often you do it?
Yeah. So I grew up in a house where we had a lot of smokers in my immediate family, extended family. The big one was my dad. He smoked for a very long time. However, my mom did not smoke. So that brought some conflict in my family, which always stressed my dad out to smoke even more. So we were, as children, just very exposed to it. And when I was like 14 years old was the first time I was around some of my friends, freshman year of high school, and there was a cigarette going around, and because I was so used to being around my dad with it, I just tried it, and the immediate relaxation of it, I was instantly hooked. So I think like all through high school, I always just like fell back on it when I would be stressed out. My dad got sick in high school. And so just my entire life I've kind of dealt with depressive like episodes, and I always just fall back on it. And so first time I tried it was when I was like 14, but I smoke frequently now.
Okay, so you're saying that your dad has a big part in it and that you started when you were 14. Mm-hmm. And so do you think that you smoke more now than you do when you were 14?
Yeah, I definitely smoke more now. When I was 14, I still had to like hide it from my mom because she doesn't approve of my smoking.
So could you kind of give me like an estimate of how much you smoke now?
Depending on the day, but probably a pack and a half a day.
So worst case scenario, on your worst day, how much would you smoke?
2 packs maybe.
Okay. So I think a good conversation for us to have today is that smoking has no benefit to your health. That might kind of seem like common sense to you, but I'm sure that it just kind of gets pushed to the side. So we're going to go ahead and like talk about some things that maybe we can try and reduce the smoking that you have. So I'm going to show you this readiness ruler, and can you tell me if how ready you are to change? 0 is not now, and 10 would be a now. So what could you rate yourself as?
A 1.
A 1? Okay, that's a good start. So I'm just kind of going to go off some of the background information that you gave me and just kind of ask some questions if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Okay. So you said that your dad was a big factor. Do you think that he maybe influenced you to start smoking?
I think just growing up, my parents arguing alone stressed me out and upset me so much that I had to find some sort of relaxant, and I know that my dad found that in smoking, so he would definitely be a factor in why I started, yes.
Okay. And then did you say that your dad was still living today?
No, he passed away.
And do you think it was due to health concerns? If that's okay if I ask you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you think that today, do you see your health being affected by how much you smoke?
I see my health is definitely affected. I like to exercise in my free time. I'm noticing I do cough more.
Okay.
And I do also notice myself just wanting to stop exercising because I want that cigarette. I do have that craving really bad. So yeah, in those senses it has definitely affected my health.
Okay. How many times do you think you've been to the doctor in the past year or so?
Like 2 times.
Okay. And can you just kind of touch base on maybe some of the reasons? I know that you said you were coughing, so did you have some respiratory issues, or can you kind of just explain on that?
I had pneumonia really bad one time. I was coughing up some really nasty secretions. I don't know that had anything to do with smoking though.
Okay. So I understand that you think that the smoking isn't affecting your health, that you saw it affecting your dad's health. Do you think that like potentially all these doctor visits and maybe respiratory problems that you have been having could potentially make a worse problem down the line?
I can see
in your
that.
older age?
I can see that.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about cutting back on your use. So what are some things that you like to do in your free time besides smoking? I know that you mentioned exercise. Do your friends smoke? Do you like to hang out with them? What are some things that you like to do?
So I work with a lot of my friends, so after work we always like to go to happy hour. We just work downtown, so there's a lot of different places to hang out. We just go have a couple of drinks, and there's a couple of them that smoke, not all of them, but yeah, we'll go out for smoke breaks, so we definitely use it as a tool of communication, and we all hang out, and it's definitely something that we bond over.
Okay, so it sounds like your friends kind of give you the confirmation of smoking's okay. And I know earlier you had mentioned that your mom was not okay with it. Can you kind of elaborate on maybe about how your family thinks about you smoking today?
Yeah. So like I said, when I grew up, my parents they had a lot of conflict, and that was one of the main ones.
Okay.
Was that my mom wasn't okay with my dad smoking, and I have a brother, but I was the one that fell into smoking, but my brother wasn't, so it was just kind of a divided house,
Okay.
to say the least. And now it's just hard to communicate and have that really good bond now that my dad's gone. And my brother and I are both grown. He has a daughter that I thoroughly enjoy hanging out with, but he's against what I do, so he doesn't let me hang out with her if he knows I'm going to be smoking around her.
So does he stay in contact with you today? I mean, when last have you talked to him?
He'll stay in contact with me. He'll like text me or call me some, but he doesn't let me have contact with his daughter as of now. But we talk maybe once a week.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go over what you had talked about, and you can just tell me if that's what you were saying.
Okay.
So I kind of got the pros of you saying that it's a good indication to hang out with your friends. It makes you feel good. And then I also understood that the cons you were saying was that you can't see your niece, and it's you kind of see it affecting your health, but you're not sure if it's potentially the smoking. Do you agree with all those things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can you maybe think of, starting to hang out with your niece more to cut down, or can you kind of mention some things that will help you cut down on the smoking?
I think my biggest motivator would be hanging out with my niece. I miss her. She's 3.5 years old, so she's right in that really fun, like, toddler stage. And it is definitely tugging at my heart that I haven't been able to watch her grow up. So that's probably going to be my biggest motivator.
Okay. I think that's a really good motivator. So I think that's a good step. So I think that today we're going to go ahead and end this session, but I want to get permission from you to make sure that we can probably have another session maybe in a couple weeks right after our next meeting to see how things are going and to see if maybe you've touched base with your brother and hung out with your niece more. Do you think that is okay?
Is it just going to be like one-on-one again?
Yeah, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So since this meeting's over, we're going to go ahead and look at the readiness ruler again. How would you rate yourself now on a readiness to change on a scale of 0 to 10?
4.
Okay, good. So hopefully next time we can make some progress, and I look forward to meeting with you then.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.